Hello, everyone, and welcome. We are happy that you have joined us for our presentation. It is great that we are able to connect at this time to discuss one of the important issues that impact adult education. My name is Andrea Lypka, and my co-presenter is Imelda Bangun. Our presentation focuses on implementing digital duoethnography as a critical and reflective professional development tool. Additionally, we will be examining duoethnography as an exploratory and participatory framework in the language classroom. This is on the agenda for today. First, we will define digital duoethnography. Then we will explore the critical and participatory framework. And then Imelda will apply digital duoethnography as a professional development tool, and she will share the results of our study. Let's define duoethnography. To us, duoethnography is a qualitative research method and a vehicle for reflection and a process and project-based learning tool. So this slide shows some definitions of digital duoethnography. It is a collaborative research methodology and a pedagogical tool in which two or more researchers of difference juxtapose their life histories to provide multiple understandings of the world. And then the next definition reviews more of what is digital duoethnography. So when participants combine storytelling, technology tools, and multimodal text to dialogically explore and critically reflect on their journeys. The next slide addresses to why should we use digital duoethnography. Digital duoethnography is a relatively new research method. It was initially introduced by Sawyer and Norris to study how two or more individuals give similar or different meanings to a common phenomena as it was experienced in their lives. And at the core of duoethnography is the narration of the process through which two individuals make meaning out of a phenomenon, and it is typically embedded in power relationships. In other words, duoethnography renegotiates meaning through retelling, revisioning, and re-understanding of experiences. And now let's explore the framework. In our research, we used a social contextual approach to English language teaching and research, and this approach comes from Auerbach in 1989, which focused on meaningful participation. This means that we chose topics that in our conversations that are directly relevant to our lives and how we enacted membership in the academic and research communities. And we also questions of identity, belonging, and social issues to emerge in our conversations as it relates to our professional development. So the framework, as the next slide illustrates, was used to deepen learning, encourage reflection, spur further inquiry and reflection beyond practice, and these ideas come from Farrell, 2018. So the purpose of the framework was to engage us in the participatory research, reflection, and to propel us to think about classroom applications. So it is a very cooperative and critical and collegial framework as defined by Blake and Gibson in 2020. And the audience of duoethnography could be the students, our students, instructors, administrators and staff, or even the wider audience. And really the aims is to disrupt grand narratives, to focus on differences between the participants, to create polyvocal, multimodal, and dialogic texts, and to focus on life history or curere as a curriculum. Let's look at how duoethnography has been implemented. As I mentioned earlier, duoethnography is not a very prescriptive qualitative research method, but it is accessible to many readers. So first, you are doing multiple recursive recorded conversations on Zoom. We use Zoom, but you can use other platforms. Then together, we did thematic coding. And then it can be presented either as a standard research project or as a dialogic project. And the screenshot on the right shows an example of a duoethnography presented as a dialogue between two researchers. And our book chapter is also has used a similar approach, but we use the thematic headers. So why digital duoethnography in English language teaching? First of all, I believe that this framework, it is flexible and is inclusive. Flexible, by flexible, I mean it uses available technology resources, and the researchers or the participants decide on the appropriate format or topic. It is also appropriate for all kinds of professional development, for all kinds of courses, and for all kinds of levels. And levels, I mean students. You can even adopt it with a lower level speaker and allow that speaker to use multimodal forms of expression, for instance. And it is likely that the product outweighs traditional work, such as publications and presentations. And for us, it was a rewarding process to make meaning together. The framework, we feel that it is inclusive because it offered choices and it respected meaning-making differences. We seem to be more engaged to share our own perspectives. And using technology, this has been greatly enhanced because we could conversate on Google Docs and on Zoom at various times. And in the next slide, my colleague Imelda Bangun will explain how to apply digital duoethnography as a research tool, and she will start with the research questions that guided our study. Imelda?
Thank you, Andrea. So our study is guided by two research questions. The first one is, how did we implement duoethnography as a professional development tool? And the second question is, in what ways did we stimulate critical reflection and dialogic reflexive emotional meaning making? So based on our perceptions, how we view learning as a process, we believe that a learning process is a social learning process where people with common interests or similar interests and passion can collaborate together to find strategies, solution, and innovation over a period of time. Andrea and I, we both are, or we already have our PhD in technology and second language acquisition, and we have been working with adult learners, and our focus mostly on literacy, and also we use technology in our classroom. So that's how we find that we have similar interests and passion. Also, the transnational backgrounds. Our background, we both are, English is not our first language, and we came to the US as, you know, as someone who do not have English as our first language, but we get to teach English in the US, in America, and get to work with international students or refugees, immigrants for the past 9 to 10 years, 12 years. So, so we believe that, you know, the transnational backgrounds, fund of knowledge, and the skills or resources that we can use to achieve our personal and professional goals and become global change agents. And we want to impart that to our students too. So the learning process is not just for the teachers or researchers, but also for the students. And also we believe that participatory responsive inquiry can be used as a fertile space for students to better understand their relationship with the world and how they can develop that multiliteracies and cross-cultural competencies to help them with their learning. So after we did our research, our study, we collected our data, we had the conversation, as Andrea has mentioned, in the process where we wrote this dual ethnography, we had a lot of conversation. We talk about, you know, our experience, our perspective, about how we teach our students, what we believe learning should be. And so after we did our data collection, these are the findings and the discussions. So in the findings, the position of the participants, they're the knowledge creators and the experts. So if you want to write your dual ethnography, the participants should be the experts and the creators. And also in the findings, we see that when we do this dual ethnography, we create a space and we get to negotiate on our identities. And we get to keep on reflecting. So like Andrea mentioned in her slides, that we get to reflect about ourselves, about our teaching styles, about our research, about our interests, about our learning. And it also gives us the opportunity to reimagine teaching and learning within a narrative and dialogic space. Another finding is, without conscious sense making and connection to the participants' voices, we believe that digital dual ethnography would remain an empty research and teaching vessels. So there has to be an opportunity to make that connection and to make to allow the participants to voice out their perceptions, what they believe, their experience, their backgrounds. And also, if, you know, practitioners or researchers want to use dual ethnography to imagine ways to enhance and transform your own understanding and others' understanding about culture, identity, social reality, and transnational background, we believe that dual ethnography is a really good research method that you can try to implement or to apply, just simply, like I have mentioned, simply just to help you understand what is it that other people believe, what I believe, the importance of transnational background, social reality, identity, and, you know, things like that. And also, we believe that dual ethnography, or after we conducted the dual ethnography, we think that dual ethnography should be explored as a PD method to empower researchers and practitioners. Andrea?
Thank you so much. This was our presentation, and here is our contact information. Feel free to reach out to us, and we are happy to email you back. And the next slide is the selected references that we used in our presentation, and you can find our research or book chapter that we published on digital dual ethnography.